and welcome to Midweek Connect from Elim Church Romsey. My name's Dave Walker.
We are going through a series in Midweek Connect called A Christmas Journey, and we're going through four particular themes. Last week it was Christmas Foretold, where we looked at Isaiah. This week it's Christmas Pronounced. Next week is Christmas Arrived. The week after is Christmas Received. Bit of a tongue twister there. So I want to read some verses from Matthew's Gospel, which is what we're going to look at today for our title, which is Christmas Pronounced. Matthew chapter 2 verses 1 to 12. Something you're probably very familiar with if you've ever been to a nativity service of any kind. Matthew chapter 2. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born the King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people, the chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked, "Where was the Christ to be born?" "In Bethlehem, in Judea," they replied. "For this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will be the shepherd of my people Israel." When Herod called the Magi, he secretly wanted to spend time with them and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. They sent him to Bethlehem and said, "Go and make careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, report him to me so that I may go and worship him." Yeah, right, he had other plans. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them, and it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country via another route. A very familiar story, the story of the wise men. I remember many years ago at school, I had played the wise men in a nativity scene in primary school. And I was actually ill that night. And it was very touch and go whether I would actually get there to the school or not and take part in the play. And thankfully, in the end, I was able to go there and be one of the three wise men. With the Magi, the wise men in the real story, it was quite touch and go for them, whether they got there or not, but they were guided by God. And of course, they had a real adversary, being Herod the Great. And Herod the Great was one of the Herod family. After him there was Herod Antipas, who was the Herod at the time Jesus was grown up, and then later there were two Herod Agrippas. But this Herod the Great was kind of a bit of a ruthless person, but he didn't have total control over the country. He was the leader, in a sense, a puppet leader of Jerusalem, of Judea at that point. Don't confuse Judea with Judah. Judah was the name of that political area many years ago, but it was now called Judea. It's confusing, I know. But we learn quite a few things from the wise men. We learn a few habits that they had. You know, when a habit sticks, it's good. When a bad habit is taken away, it takes a while to go away, because you take the hate away and you've still got the habit. You take the bit away and it is still there. So you take the B away and it is still there. So no matter how much of it you take away, there's still a bit of it still left there. But some habits are very good. And the habits that the wise men had were good. And there are 5 habits here. Number 1, they showed humility. The fact that they were prepared to go and seek out another king, which it will illustrate to everybody else that actually we're not that important, but this other king is. The other habit is that they followed the star. They had a plan. They said, we are going to get up tomorrow morning and the morning after and the morning after, and the plan and the vision that we have is the same and it's not going to change. And they stuck to that plan. Do you have a plan, or are you just blowing around aimlessly? They also, as well as having humility and following him, they also worshipped him. They worshipped him. Do you truly worship Jesus, or do you pretend to? Do you worship him, or do you pretend to? Because worshiping in Jesus means demonstrating it by your lifestyle. They gave him their best. They knelt down, gave him gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Do you give Jesus your best, or is he just a side thought? Maybe I'll go to church in a few weeks' time. I don't really know. And I'll make out that I follow Jesus. Yes, this is a challenge. I like to challenge occasionally. I don't do it very often. And finally, the other habit they had was they didn't give in to fear. They didn't give in to fear. Even though they were up against their adversary, Herod the Great, they didn't give in to fear. So 5 things. They followed him. They followed the star. They followed the star that led to Jesus. And obviously, they were guided by that star. And they were also guided by a dream later on. Their life was guided by him. Guided by God, ultimately, through a dream via the star. So they showed humility. They followed the star, God's leading. They worshipped him. They gave him their best, and they didn't give in to fear. Where are you today in this story? We look at this story and we will hear so much about it over the next few weeks. But this is Christmas pronounced, that obviously at this point, the wise men said something great is going to happen. A new king is going to come in. And he will, even though he didn't become a political leader, he became a tremendous leader for mankind, leading us all to Christ. And Jesus Christ offers an invitation to you and for you today to follow him. Look at the 5 habits of the wise men. They showed humility. They followed him as when they followed the dream as well as the star. They worshipped him. They give him the best, and they didn't give in to fear. We look forward to having you at Elim Church Romsey this Sunday. Come along, 10:30 a.m. And other than that, I also want to say thank you very much for joining us for Midweek Connect today in this unusual location. I might be on the way somewhere like the wise men. I'm in the middle of a car park in Southampton, but we won't let that bother us. Thank you for joining us. God bless you. And next week there'll be the next installment in this Midweek Connect. Thank you.